Hi, and welcome to our tutorial on setting up your Tapestry account. My name is Vanna.
And my name's Alexandra. The setup screen was designed to help you easily add information to get features enabled on your account to support you and your setting. This is from assessment frameworks to choosing permissions to your users. Through this tutorial, we will walk you through the setup process and hopefully it will answer any questions you may have. So let's get started.
So once you've purchased an account, you'll be sent an activation email to the email address entered during your registration. This will be the first manager on the account. Click Create Your Password to set up your login. Here, you can enter the first name and last name you want registered to your user and create a password and PIN number. When you are happy with the details, click Submit. Your user will then be activated and you can log into your account. Enter your registered email address and password to log in.
When you first log in, you will need to choose your setting type. There are a few options which you can choose from, or if your setting type does not appear, you can add it in the Other box. In this example, we are a primary school who will be using Tapestry throughout our setting. So we're going to tick Preschool, Reception, Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. Next, we ask for you to let us know whether you're part of a chain or a trust. If you are, enter the name here. Then select your time zone. At this point, you will notice that you can go back. But after this point, you won't be able to go back to these screens, so make sure you have this information correct. So when you're happy, click Done. You are then taken through to the final setup screen.
You will notice that some information has already been added, such as your setting type. Using the information you have already given will enable certain features just to save you time. An example of this could be that if you have selected Key Stage 1, the assessment framework would have already been enabled for you. If there are any features enabled that you don't think you will need or use, you can disable them at a later time. This can all be done through the control panel, which we will go through in a bit.
If you need help or you need to add another manager, you can click here and Add Admin. After you enter their details, they get sent an activation email, and once set up, they can help you with the setting up of the Tapestry account. We will work through the setup list, but note that this can be done in any order. We have already added our setting type on the first screen. Now let's look at adding your setting details. This is done by simply clicking Add Setting Details.
You will see a pop-up that introduces the control panel. The control panel is where you control all of the account actions, settings and preferences. This is such as enabling and disabling features, managing users and lots more. The control panel is only accessible by manager staff users. Click Got It to proceed. You are taken to a page on the control panel where you can add your settings details such as name, address and setting logo. If you make any changes, make sure you click Save at the bottom of the page. Once you're done, go back to the setup list from the blue bar across the top or Setup button along the top menu.
Next, you can set your assessment periods. You may wish to amend these dates if they don't align with your assessment periods. You can add and delete periods as needed. Don't forget to click Save if you make any changes. Now once you're done, go back to the setup list. As we add information, the progress bar increases. You can see that some setup tasks will be marked as complete without you making any changes or adding extra information. This is because of default information already added by Tapestry.
You can enable the relevant assessment framework or frameworks for your setting. Here, you can see that some frameworks may have already been enabled depending on your setting type. To enable or disable a framework and to change the relative visibility, click on Configure. If you want to use your own curriculum on Tapestry, then you can add it through our bespoke framework feature. Let's go back to the setup screen and finish off setting up your account.
As well as frameworks, you'll also find flag sets which can be added to observations and reflections. To see an example, click on the information tooltip. To explore this feature, click Add Flag Set. The available flag sets are grouped into 3 categories, such as our EYFS 2021 flag sets. If you want more information on using the EYFS 2021 on Tapestry, head to our website at the address below. You can enable all flag sets within the same category or click on the category drop-down to manage your flag sets individually. Again, click on Configure to enable or disable a flag set within Observations and Reflections, and to manage the relative visibility of these for your observations. Just like with assessment frameworks, some sets may be enabled already depending on your setting type, and you can also add your own bespoke flag sets. Now let's go back to the setup screen.
Next, you can manage the features that are enabled on your account. To do this, simply click on Enable or Disable next to the relevant feature. You may want to take some time to read through the available features that are on Tapestry. When you're happy with what's enabled, go back to the setup screen.
By clicking on Manage Roles and Permissions, you'll be taken through to the User Permissions section on the control panel. Here you can control certain aspects of a user's actions through managing their permissions. Each user type has their own tab, which are for staff, relatives and children. The Staff tab will manage full staff and PIN-only staff members, whereas Manager staff users are always permitted to perform any of these actions. The Children tab will be relevant to settings using the Child login feature. Within the tab, permissions are broken down into different areas for easy management. When you click on an area, you will see all of the available permissions for it and the current default permissions. To make a change, click on Edit and then select the preferred default. Here you can also set individual permissions for some users. As with all of our setup tasks, you can return to this screen at any time to update your user permissions. Now, if you make a change, remember to click Save. Now let's return to the setup screen.
Next, you will need to sign the contract, which acts as the data processing agreement between us and the schools and settings that use Tapestry. Click Sign Agreement to go to the contract page. Select the title to read and sign the latest contract and follow the steps on the page to sign it.
You can see that the final steps for setting up your account consist of adding and managing users. Now, if you're not ready to complete these steps yet, then just click on Skip. Otherwise, to add a staff member, click on Manage Staff. You have the option to add staff members individually, or if you have a lot to add at once, you can do this in bulk via a CSV file. For support on creating a CSV file, click Manually Create a CSV. This will take you through to a tutorial on how to do this. Otherwise, to add them individually, select Add Staff Member. When adding staff, you will need to choose their staff type. This can be either a manager, full staff account, or a PIN-only staff user. Please note that different users have different usabilities. Managers can do everything on an account and have access to the control panel, whereas what full staff members and PIN-only staff members can do on an account can be managed via the control panel by a manager. However, PIN-only staff members are not set up with an email and can only log into their account with a manager. Fill in the relevant details on the page and choose how you would like to activate the user. This can be done manually, via email, or not yet. When you have added children to the account, you'll be able to come back to the screen and attach key children to the member of staff. Once you're done, click Save. You can add more staff members or go back to the setup list. Now, as mentioned before, any changes can be made at a later time through the control panel, which is accessed by clicking your name in the top right and then selecting Control Panel.
Next, you have the option to add your children. Again, this can be done at a later time. If you are ready to add them, click Add Children. Similarly, like when adding staff, you can either add children individually or in bulk via CSV file. For information on how to create the CSV file, select Manually Create a CSV. To add children individually, click Add Child. Here, you can add a photo of the child and enter their details such as full name, date of birth and their start date. If the child is not joining you straight away, or you do not have enough active spaces on your subscription, you can set them as enrolling. If you have enough space on your subscription and you want them to be active straight away, you can select Active. Finally, you can set some permissions relating to the child's About Me page and set a password if you'll be using the child login feature. Once you're done, hit Save. Again, continue to add more children or go back to the setup screen.
If you want to create groups and classes for your children, then you can do this by selecting Add a Group. If you already have groups set up, they will appear here. To add another, click Add Group. Enter the group name and a description if you wish. In this example, we will add hedgehogs, which could be the name of one of your rooms or classes. Next, click Select Children to add them into the group. Either tick the box next to the child you want to add, or select all if you want to add them all. If you have lots of children set up, you can use the search bar to find them quickly. Now, once the children are selected, click Save and then Save again. On this page, you can also edit any current groups. Once this has all been set up, go back to your setup list.
Finally, you can add your relatives and link them to their child or children. Do this by clicking Add Relatives. As before, relatives can be set up individually or in bulk. Find the support guide on adding them in bulk by clicking Manually Create a CSV. To add them individually, click Add Relative. Enter their details, including their full name and email address. Optionally, you can add in their phone number and a collection password. This information can be exported at the bottom of the Manage Relatives page. Once their details have been added, choose how you want to activate their account. This can be done manually or via email. You also have the option to not activate them yet. To attach their child or children, click Attach New Child and select them from the list. You'll find this at the bottom of the page. Here, you can also add in their relationship and mark them as having parental responsibility. This means that they are notified of accidents through the Care Diary or Accidents Only feature. You can also mark them as a bill payer if you want them to receive invoices and reminders through the booking feature. Don't forget to click Save at the bottom of the page when you've entered all of their details. Please note, you can attach as many children as needed. You do not need to add the same relative more than once. Also, you can add more than one relative for each child, as children can be linked to more than one relative. You can also link relatives to children via the Manage Relationships page at the top of this screen. And when you're done, return back to the setup screen.
You can now see a Great Start message and how you can access the control panel through there. The left-hand panel has all of the areas we have focused on in this video.
Now you can see we have completed the setup of your account. If you want to make any changes, then click on the relevant button. Otherwise, to dismiss the setup screen, click Save and Continue. Please note, once you hit this button, there will be no option to go back to the setup screen. But, as mentioned before, everything can be managed through the control panel.
We hope you found this useful. If you need any further support, please contact us at customer.service@eyfs.info.